that which is below is equal to that which is above, and what is above is equal to what is below.
The lower half of the emblem is marked by 3 shields which are connected to one another, as well as the middle ring by a golden chain. On the left side, the shield shows a double eagle colored red on a white background on one side and colored white on a red background on the other. On the right, we see a green lion on a yellow background. Below in the image, the Trinity is concluded with a 7-pointed star, which in its rays represents the 7 planets. To the sides of the star are shown Cosmos and Earth. They signify that on this plane of evolution, cosmic as well as secular powers have to fertilize each other to further the evolution in time. In the picture of the Earth, the land is shown brown and the oceans are shown blue. The cosmos symbolizes the blue level of consciousness of the Sophia, the fixed star contained in the sphere, and the polar qualities of sun and moon. The meaning of the imperial orb, red with a yellow ring and topped with a yellow cross that sits on the 7-pointed star, will become apparent through the further contemplation of the 3 shields. The shield portraying a double eagle colored red on a white background on one side and white on a red background on the other. To understand the meaning, let us return to the image of the blue eagle that carries aloft the androgynous being, the reborn soul beyond the sensual polarity, and which stands symbolically for the purified soul and the self. It lifts it heavenward and into the sphere of the cosmic Sophia. As we understand from the representation of the androgynous being, the consciousness, though it is to be found beyond the sensual polarity, remains polar but corresponding to itself, and not, as on the sensual plane, in a self-exclusive way. The qualities of male and female remain intact. The double eagle points to this remaining polarity in the sphere of Sophia. Although the consciousness, symbolized by the circle, is a self-contained unity, it shows itself in the passive female, moon, silver, devotion, and male active aspect, Mars, red, self. Thus, the white eagle expresses the quality of the moon, and the red eagle that of the sun in its self-quality on the level of Sophia. Their backgrounds represent the opposite colors, which points to the inseparable connection of the 2 qualities. One pole comes out of the other, and in turn bears the first in its great revelation. The empty circle symbolizes the still undeveloped nature of consciousness, which in its emptiness is nonetheless directly creative and forth-bringing, since the greatest emptiness by the spiritual principle as we have encountered with the double eagle simultaneously brings forth an opposite pole from itself. From a Rosicrucian standpoint, however, there is a danger in the state of consciousness that is symbolized by the double eagle. To understand this, let us once more return to the Ergon and Paregon of the Rosicrucians by Theophilus Schweighart. The meaning of the title of the picture is the primary work, Ergon, and the secondary work, Paregon. As is apparent from the picture, the individual, the inner development of humanity, is understood by the Rosicrucians as the secondary work. Understood on a deeper level, the object is to master the starry sphere, to which has been attached the metal silver and the moon sphere. So, the minor work, or Paregon, corresponds to the level of the intuitive experience of the Sophia. The Rosicrucian understands this level of consciousness to be the secondary work, since it only represents the precondition to behold this spiritual sun, this spiritual being, the Christ, which to him is the actual source of his work. In the symbols of sun and moon, when they are shown together, we see the polarities of masculine and feminine. According to the understanding of the Rosicrucians, when the sun is depicted by itself in its spiritual aspect, it represents the Christ, which is expressed by this image, an image from the secret symbols of the Rosicrucians. From Jesse, the father of King David of Israel, grows the root of the family tree of Christ, the spiritual son. So we are led to a significant moment within the Rosicrucian initiation. Should students decide on the silver path, the one of the moon, they will, in the sphere of cosmic wisdom, take possession of such an all-inclusive place in this life that they will detach themselves from the evolution of the earth in time. If, on the other hand, they seek the powers of the sun with the ego, which seed-like are slumbering in the sphere of Sophia, in order to awaken them in this renewed direction towards earth in time, then they follow the golden path, the one of the Christ. Through the realization of the minor work, individuality is born in the experience of the sphere of Sophia. However, it only comes to unfoldment through the dedication to and cooperation with the evolution of the earth, the major work, which comes to expression in the following sentences of the Emerald Tablet.
It rises to heaven from the earth, and down again to the earth, and thereby receives the power of the upper and the lower. Thus you gain the glory of all the world. Above, all ignorance will leave you. The unique is of all the strengths, the strongest strength. It defeats all subtle things and permeates all solids.
The second shield, coming out of the circle, is a green line on a yellow background. It carries the quality of the sun in the seekers that they have internalized from the sphere of Sophia as a seed, which is the path, the truth, and the goal for them. This is expressed in the yellow background. As nature, through the effect of the sun, begins to become green again, so too, in the picture of the line, the newborn individuality seeks to internalize in its heart the sun quality, the Christ. The moon drifts on the mirror-smooth ocean. In realizing the sphere of Sophia, the consciousness, through the calming of the turbulent waves of the emotions and imaginations, is turned into a mirror, which permits it to view reality without distortion. The 7 stars on its body indicate that together with the qualities of the 7 planets in the flow of time, it goes the way of the sun by devouring it in the emblem. The shield of the double eagle and that of the green lion surround the lowest shield of the 7-pointed star in the emblem. Wisdom and the self-powers that slumber seed-like in this sphere now turn to the 7th count of time, when individuality recognizes wisdom not as an end in itself, but as a prerequisite. Out of this understanding, Rosicrucians attached a special meaning to the symbol of the 7-pointed star. Through this image, we can now understand in greater detail the different planes of inner evolution as they are shown in the 7-pointed star in the emblem of the Emerald Tablet. In the upper part of the triangle, we see the sun and the moon as the 2 aspects of the mirror-like consciousness of the Sophia as depicted by the wing. When those 2 qualities, as they are represented in the shields of the green lion and the eagle, turn towards the lower point of the triangle, the body that is the earth, in the space of the evolution of the number 7, then the soul, starts on the way that is indicated by the 7 points. The inscription around the Emerald Tablet has the same meaning as the one around the picture of the 7-pointed star. Vista interiora, terrae rectificando, invenius occultum lapidem, which means, search out the nether part of the earth, perfect it, and you will find the hidden stone. This statement is called the vitriol formula, which to the alchemists meant the transformation of base matter into gold, and to the Rosicrucians, the transformation of earth into sun. When, in the sequence of numbers 1 to 7, we begin with Saturn and proceed clockwise to the moon, the human soul is directed again on its way from heaven to the earth. The next plane of evolution opens up through the seven-pointed star when we follow the flow of time, signified by the rays of the star. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Sun, Venus, Mercury, Moon. This new figure of a seven-pointed star corresponds to the sequence of the days of the week in the flow of time, and, when we begin with Saturn, to the evolutionary development of the Earth through the different planetary states in time. Thus, through the symbol of the seven-pointed star, reference is made also to the cosmic development of the Earth and therefore the actual task of the Rosicrucian initiate. The turning of the individuality from the sphere of the Sophia to the Earth and to the flow of time, and then further to the center of the Earth, opens a new dimension of being which connects directly to the Christ and the evolution of the Earth. Before we turn to the last symbol in the emblem of the Emerald Tablet, the orb of empire above the seven-pointed star, we must deal with further inner planes of human evolution that are necessary to its realization and that lead from the cosmic through the human heart to the inner part of the earth.